In the world of boxing, rivalries are often more than just about skill or fame. They're a collision of pride, personalities, and a fierce desire to prove oneself.
Family's everything, but my kids, to my children, I'm nobody. But that night they're gonna find out their father's very special.
And as Mike Tyson and Jake Paul gear up for what's being dubbed the fight of the decade, tensions have reached an all-time high, culminating in a press conference moment that left fans and fighters stunned.
Just a quick word for you for the people at home. We want to hear from you. Can I get a quick word? Just a sec, all right? Okay, no problem.
This isn't just another bout on the calendar. It's a battle between two fighters from different generations, each with something enormous to prove. And this tension finally erupted when Mike Tyson slapped Jake Paul in front of a packed audience. The press conference started with a familiar buildup, but the tension in the room was undeniable. As Mike Tyson entered, a hush fell over the crowd. Dressed in a simple, dark suit, he walked with a measured, deliberate pace, his presence exuding a quiet intensity that filled every corner of the room. Tyson had always possessed an aura of raw power, but today there was something different, a kind of stillness that bordered on eerie. His expression was unreadable, a mask of calm so intense it was unsettling, like the eye of a storm holding back a destructive force. Those who had followed his career knew this was the Tyson of old, the one who fought with a silent, calculated fury, a fighter who didn't need words to intimidate, only his presence. Across from him, Jake Paul was the complete opposite. He entered with swagger, his entourage in tow, the confidence in his step amplified by the blinding flashes of cameras and the murmurs of the crowd. Dressed in a loud, designer outfit, he made it clear he was here to make a statement. Paul immediately launched into a flurry of taunts, his voice echoing through the room as he threw insult after insult Tyson's way.
I'm not getting my bit off on Friday night, so I got my diamond spiked ear covers right there. All right.
Every gesture was exaggerated, every word sharpened to provoke. "Come on, Mike," Paul shouted, his tone dripping with mockery. "Are you even awake over there? This isn't the nursing home." It was classic Jake Paul, loud, relentless, brimming with the kind of bravado that has fueled his entire career. To him, this was all part of the game, another chance to get inside his opponent's head, to throw them off balance before they ever stepped into the ring. His brash confidence was his signature move, a weapon that had unsettled many before. But this time, there was a shift. As he hurled his insults, something in the room changed, a silent acknowledgement that he was, perhaps for the first time,
Just a quick word for you for the people at home. We want to hear from you. Can I get a quick word? Just a sec, all right? Okay, no problem.
testing the limits of a man who was more than just a fighter, a man who had once been a force of nature. Paul's words grew sharper, louder, each one calculated to push Tyson's buttons. "Look at you," Paul sneered, waving his hand dismissively. "You're a relic, man. The world's moved on, and you're just here, trying to cling to the spotlight." Tyson didn't flinch. His face remained expressionless, eyes locked on Paul, unblinking, as if he were studying him, waiting. But the stillness wasn't indifference. It was restraint, a simmering energy held back by sheer force of will. The audience could feel it too. As Paul's insults escalated, fans and reporters alike exchanged glances, sensing the potential for something explosive. They could see the contrast between Tyson's restrained intensity and Paul's unrestrained arrogance. Here was a young fighter, untested by the kind of battles Tyson had weathered.
Are you talking to me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm back, yeah.
Why is he manufactured and why are you for real?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you can
Standing toe-to-toe with a man who had nothing left to prove, yet everything to defend, Paul might have been brimming with confidence, but to many watching, he looked like he was poking a sleeping bear, unaware that he was stepping into dangerous territory. Every time Paul tried to get a reaction, Tyson's calm only deepened, his silence more powerful than any comeback. This wasn't just an age-old fighter holding back, it was a living legend, a man whose entire career was built on a foundation of fierce, disciplined violence, keeping that power in check.
Who wants to bet on it, huh? Does anyone want to bet on it? I'm shaking hands. So how much we want to bet on this? You said, Mike, how much you want to bet? He said he's good. That's what I thought. Me. How much you want to bet?
Mike Tyson.
How much?
How much you?
Those who had followed his career, this moment felt like the prelude to something inevitable, a reminder of why Tyson had once been feared by men twice as skilled as Paul. For all of Jake Paul's bravado, his taunts seemed to ring hollow against the backdrop of Tyson's silence. He was a firecracker, bold and noisy, but Tyson was the volcano, biding its time, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash. The tension in the room continued to rise, each moment building a pressure that felt like it could shatter with the slightest spark.
How much? As much as you're willing to lose, brother.
Okay, so I'll give you my property
How
in
much?
India.
How much?
My property is like more than 1 million. I'll give you. Deal.
How much you want to bet? Bro,
And as Paul leaned forward, sneering, daring Tyson to break his silence, everyone in the room felt it, that this wasn't just a press conference. It was the start of something that would change the course of their rivalry forever. As the questions started rolling in, Paul wasted no time stoking the fire. Mike, you're old news. Paul sneered. You were the baddest man on the planet. Emphasis on were. The crowd murmured, some fans gasping, others cheering, while Tyson sat unbothered, simply staring Paul down with an expression that could cut through steel. But Paul kept pushing. Face it, old man, he taunted, stepping closer. You're past your prime, and when I knock you out, the world's gonna know it.
the time I spent taking a is how much you make in your whole life, buddy. Shut the up. How much you want to lose? $1 million, deal. We got 1 million here, 1 million here. Come on, you guys want to do this? Put your money where your mouth is. How much money? Exactly.
Tyson's expression didn't change. It was as if he was a coiled spring, waiting for the right moment. Finally, Paul made his fatal mistake. He leaned in, pointing his finger at Tyson's chest, and laughed. What are you gonna do, huh? The legend's gone soft. The crowd held its breath as Paul stepped too close. In a flash, with a speed that belied his age, Tyson's hand shot up and delivered a quick, hard slap across Paul's face. The sound echoed through the room, a sharp, unmistakable crack that left the crowd in stunned silence. Paul stumbled back, clutching his cheek in disbelief. His bravado vanished, replaced by shock and a flicker of fear. For a moment, it looked as though Tyson would follow up with more, but he simply stood there, his face an unreadable mask of calm fury. It was clear that for Tyson, this wasn't about showmanship or proving a point. It was about reminding the world, and Jake Paul especially, that Iron Mike was still a force to be reckoned with. The crowd erupted, half cheering, half shouting, as security stepped in to separate the fighters. The slap had been a message, not just to Paul, but to anyone who dared to question Tyson's power and presence. It was the sound of years of experience, of battles hard fought, and a legacy that wasn't about to be tarnished by someone who hadn't put in the same blood, sweat, and tears.
on it. I mean, can you give me?
It's just what
It's
I
just
said.
that. All right, that's cool. Your first trainer, the late great Customato. What do you think he would say of this spectacle going down on Friday?
Paul, visibly rattled, tried to save face. Is that all you got? He yelled, but there was no mistaking the tremor in his voice. For the first time, Jake Paul looked vulnerable, the arrogance slipping as he realized he may have bitten off more than he could chew. He quickly backed down, trying to regain his composure, but the slap had shattered any illusion of his untouchable confidence. Tyson, for his part, remained cool and composed, as if the slap had been just a reflex, a small preview of what awaited Paul in the ring. When asked about the incident, Tyson's response was calm but chilling. He's been running his mouth long enough.
What do you think he would tell you about how to beat Jake Paul?
He would be very happy. I'm just ready to fight. You know, I've said everything I had to say. There's nothing else to say.
Sometimes, you need to remind people where they stand. The audience felt the weight of his words. It wasn't just a slap, it was a declaration. This was Tyson telling Paul, and the world, that age hadn't dulled his instincts or his willingness to go to war. The atmosphere backstage was tense. Paul, still nursing his wounded pride, muttered to his team that Tyson was out of control, but his confidence had visibly been shaken. Word quickly spread on social media, with fans worldwide reacting to the slap in real time. Clips of the incident went viral, with fans and analysts dissecting every moment, every word, every reaction. Headlines erupted, calling it the slap heard around the world, and a moment that changed the game. With just days left before the fight, the pressure on both fighters has never been greater. For Tyson, this bout is about proving that he still has the ferocity that once made him the king of the ring. For Jake Paul, it's about defending his honor, his pride, and his place in a world he's only recently entered. But after that slap, the stakes have been raised to an entirely new level. On fight night, when the two finally meet in the ring, the world will be watching to see if Jake Paul can back up his bravado, or if Mike Tyson, even at this stage in his career, still has the power to crush anyone who dares to challenge his legacy. One thing is certain, that slap was just the beginning. The real storm is coming, and only one fighter will walk out with his pride intact. Okay guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content, and check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.